consternation, then you'll speak. 3 times.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning to give you an update on the department's changes in regards to the civil immigration matters. Hopefully we can answer a lot of the questions that have been brought up from some of the speakers. I've had the pleasure to meet many of you here at the committee through town hall meetings and jail tours. Most of you are aware of past policies and practices of the department as they regard the civil immigration matters. Today I'm going to give you a short PowerPoint presentation which highlights 3 areas that we have changed due to new policies implemented by Sheriff Villanueva. After my presentation, the Office of Inspector General Shadi Cardon will also show you a PowerPoint which gives more of an overview of the Trust Act, the Truth Act, the Values Act, and how our department is complying with those 3 areas. So I will start the presentation here. Like I said, there's 3 items that we'll be reviewing. The first one is the removal of the ICE agents from our jails, the misdemeanor conviction list that is used by our department, and the detainer notification form. Removal of the ICE agents. As of February 1st of this year, agents are no longer permitted in any of the sheriff's facilities to conduct any civil immigration matters. Again, I think the key there is civil immigration enforcement. Civil immigration interviews are no longer conducted within the Sheriff's Department facilities. And the transfer of the inmates, of any inmates who do qualify under SB 54 of the Values Act for civil immigration detainers are completed by contract transport officers. In other words, inmates that do qualify under SB 54 are still being transferred to the custody of immigration. The misdemeanor list we looked at and the previous conviction list had 151 crimes. The time frame for that list, the reach back was 5 years. The sheriff has decided, after looking at it, after reviewing the list, after talking to a lot of the advocate groups, that he would take about 1/3 of those crimes away from that list, and it became 101 crimes that we left on the list. And he also made the reach back 3 years versus 5 years. And the last thing we have changed is the detainer notification form. That's due to the fact that our old notification form talked about some of the rights that the inmates were given when they were being interviewed by ICE, and the fact that ICE might want to interview them, but due to the fact they're not there anymore. So we changed the form. One of the things is we affirmed the department's no interview policy, and we added the public defender's phone number that was on their request, or by their request, and we also removed the ICE's phone number that was in the original list. I'm going to go over just the release process. I think that was a lot of the questions that have been brought up of the current release process without the ICE agents in the jail. So what will happen is the contract transportation officers arrive at RC at our what's called our compound. They'll enter our jail through our salad court. They'll eventually go to what we call our custody line desk, where they receive paperwork for the transport of the inmate. They eventually go through a release hallway, where they eventually show up at our property and money, or cashiers, and they pick up the property and money of the inmate that they're going to be transporting. They then go back to the custody line desk and they wait there until the inmate is brought to them by our deputies. Our deputies will escort the inmate, and this is kind of a photo of a picture of our cameras. Usually on a daily basis, occurs about between 9 in the morning and 12 in the afternoon. I'm not sure if I can get the little pointer here. Pointer doesn't work, but everybody out here on the left of the side of that picture are either officers or transport officers from other agencies that are there to pick up inmates from our custody when we do an in-custody release to those officers or those transport officers. So that's our current policy, and we have now doing that same policy that we have all the other agencies do. So this is a summary of the changes. The ICE agents are prohibited from entering any jail facility for civil immigration matters. The misdemeanor conviction list was reduced by 50 crimes in the time frame to 3 years. And the detainer notification form has the department's policy interviews, no longer has ICE phone number on it, and now has the public defender's phone number. And that is the presentation of the three items that have been changed since February 1st. I'll let Ferdinand come up and
do we copy for anything he's saying?
Yeah.
Is that right?
you want to do questions now or afterwards?
This is his. You need to fill out this one.
I did already.
Okay. And this is
We
going
have
to
a speaker sign.
be later. Yeah, so fill that out. And also this one, OIG Trust Act.
Yeah, you're going to stay, correct?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, please, yeah, please stay, so, yeah, this way the information we'll get now will